welcome to the Happy Psychic School of the Psychic Arts. Lesson 1, Theory, the basics before we begin. Before we get to the meat and potatoes, like pendulum, tarot card reading, general ESP, and spiritual mediumship, it's very important to understand the theory behind the practice. Psychic, from the Greek word psychikos, of the soul or life. Telepathy, from the Greek words tele, meaning far or distance, and pathia, feeling or perception. Clairvoyance, from the French words clear vision or clear seeing. Divination, from the Latin divinare, meaning to predict. Medium, a person who can channel spirits, to be in contact with the spirits of the dead, and to communicate between the dead and the living. The word clairvoyance is used to describe and group any or all of the clairs. When two or more clairs are in use, we can also group them together as general extrasensory perception, or GESP, or just ESP. What is the difference between a psychic reading and a spiritual mediumship reading? While a spiritual medium is exercising psychic ability, we can differentiate the two thusly. A psychic reading is to divine information about the seeker's personal past, present, and future. For example, their career, love life, health, and they may also like to ask questions pertaining to other people here in the land of the living. A spiritual mediumship reading is clear and validated communication with spirits who have gone through the light and crossed over to the other side, and in some cases, spirits who are still earthbound. You will find that professional psychics and mediums will have a wide variety of preferred methods and styles. Please take from this course what you will, and feel free to experiment and develop your own personal style. Much in the same way, if you took singing lessons, you would take all the theory and practice you encompassed in your classes and then use them to develop your own personal style. The clairs. People talk about the human animal having 5 senses, and psychic ability is often described as the 6th sense. Scientifically, we have 21 senses that may be broken down to equal 33. For some examples, we have a sense of balance, and a sense of where our limbs are in space, and a sense of how much time has gone by. You may find, from time to time, that some of these many senses come into play while conducting a reading. To begin with, let's discuss the most common clairs. Clairvoyance, clear seeing. This is when you are seeing images. Some psychics imagine a screen, as if it's a television or a movie screen. Myself, I just imagine things as though they're there in front of me, even though my eyes are closed. Clairaudience, clear hearing. For this, you may hear a spirit give you a name, for example, maybe the name of their spouse. Clairsentience can be divided into the following. Clairempathy, which means clear feeling, specifically emotions and non-physical sensations. Clairtangency, meaning clear feeling, specifically touch, and physical sensations such as heat and cold. Clairgustance, clear tasting. This will come in handy if you're channeling a spirit who loves to cook. It'll give you an idea of what they're cooking. Clairolfaction, or clairscent, or clairsalience are all terms that mean clear smelling. This comes in handy when you're communicating with a spirit who used to smoke cigarettes or again who loved to cook. Claircognizance means clear knowing. This is when you don't know how you know, there's no sense other than just knowing. Sometimes you might be watching a hockey game and you just know which team is going to win. Are you predominantly visual, auditory, or kinesthetic? This diagram depicts how you are seeing the subject from your point of view. Just like when you're doing the hokey pokey and you put your right hand in, your subject opposite you puts their right hand in on the opposite side. So what you're looking at on this diagram, on your left, is the subject's right eye, and vice versa. Let's look at their left eye on your right. If you ask your subject how was their vacation, and they look up and to their left, they are remembering visual stimuli, and they might choose words of a visual nature, such as, oh, it was wonderful, the sky was blue, and there were palm trees everywhere. If they are looking straight to their left, they're remembering auditory stimuli, and they might use auditory wording. Oh, the music was my favorite thing. If they look down and to their left, this is called auditory digital. This is inner dialogue. It means they're thinking to themselves, well, it was okay, but I really should have brought more insect repellent. If your subject is looking up and to their right, this is constructed visual. This means they're making something up, what they saw. The police know this, and they will watch your eyes when they're asking you what you saw. If you're looking straight to the right, that is constructed auditory. Oh, and then what did he say? If you're making something up, you are looking to your right. Not to be confused with constructed information. Kinesthetic people, when they're remembering something, they're remembering how it felt. They are looking down and to their right. This is truthful, and this is where kinesthetic people will look when they're contemplating the question asked. How was your vacation? Oh, it was warm all the time, except at night it was really cold. They'll be looking down and to their right, telling the truth. Every single time I conduct a psychic or a spiritual mediumship reading, I always advise the client to maintain an open posture. I ask them not to cross their legs or their ankles or their arms or their fingers. They must have an open posture to allow their energy to flow. While it's true that you're sitting this way because you're sad, it is also true that you're sad because you're sitting this way. The brain has an area that reflects confidence, but once that area is triggered, it doesn't matter exactly how it's triggered, says Richard Petty, professor of psychology at Ohio State University. It can be difficult to distinguish real confidence from confidence that comes from just standing up straight. These things go both ways. Just like happiness leads to smiling, but also smiling leads to happiness.